Well, some news just coming through is that two people are reportedly dead at Miotso near Dowenya in the Greater Accra region following some clashes over a land dispute. The details are sketchy, but Johnny Latte Boche, whose father is among those killed, tells Joy News the police failed to act despite incessant reports he made to them. He joins us now on the telephone to give us some insight as to what exactly is happening. Good evening to you, Johnny. Hello, Johnny. Right, we have lost Johnny, but we will be going back to the story. What we're told is that two people are feared dead in the clashes there. We've had some images coming through, as you can see on your screen now. There's some disturbances. We'll be going back to the story, but before then, let's get back on to some of the other stories we're looking at tonight. There's been quite a few theories in the last few weeks about what may have accounted for the NDC's defeat at the polls this December. Some have even gone as far as demanding the resignation of the entire leadership, they say, is to blame for the massive defeat of the party. Perhaps to seek to quieten the storm and rally its members, the party has set up a 13-member committee to conduct a review into factors that accounted for their poor showing. We're holding on to that story. We're going back to Miotso to bring you details, the very latest on what is happening there. We're told that two people are feared dead in some disturbances having to do with a land dispute. We have Johnny Boche. Good evening to you, Johnny Boche.
Good evening, I'm John Latte Boche.
John Latte Boche, sorry there.
Yes.
Now, we're told of these clashes at Miotso. Can you tell us exactly what is happening there?
All right. About a few months ago, a gunshot going on in Miotso. We reported it to police. We published them. Police cannot do nothing. We wrote a petition to the Ghana IGP Kudalo. We wrote a petition to him. He couldn't do nothing about the issue. And today, the Donya people, which is Makoko, Paka, Abotre, and Inko, they have already sprayed my BMW about a few weeks ago. I reported a case in Pampam police station. The police are not doing nothing about the issue because the first incident happened in Miotso. There was a police guy inside who was called Frank Tete. And the Pampam police and the Tema cooperated, and when we have a case and we went there and reported, I even go on and ask them, in Miotso, it's not part of Ghana, and every day was going about gunshot. This morning, I was with my dad around 6:30. I have some discussion with my father. And I left my father around 7:30. Then my dad called me that there was a Donya people at my shop burning my cars. And I told my dad to leave them, but I'll be coming. So I quickly called my soldiers that there's something happening on my restaurant. So they quickly ran away to the place. Before they got there, the fire service and co are there. Then he quickly, Tema police, we know all of them are the Tema from Mayhabo police station. Because I went to Mr. Winnie's office, that's the Tema commander, the regional commander, and I stayed with him and I told him that this is what is happening in Miotso. But are they waiting to kill somebody before they will come to the scene? They didn't reply me. I wrote a petition to IGP Kudaro. I met Mr. Teteyohuno at one Asiedu's office at the regional headquarters. And he was telling me that I can't show them their work. And I said, okay, fine. But this is here about what? About gunshot. It's not about a land issue. This is a criminal issue. And they walked me out from their office.
Johnny, so,
yes.
We're told that your father has been shot. Can you confirm that for us?
Yes.
And what circumstances?
The Tema police people came to the house and that this is someone called them and they were using children. I know all of them. And they shot my father immediately. The police people.
Hold on. You're saying that the police shot your dad?
Of course, the police shot my dad. And later they were saying my dad is armed robber. My dad is not armed robber. But I don't have anything much to say But the only thing that I have to say to Ghana, that I thank Kudalo, and I thank Tete Yomuno, and I thank Awuni, and I thank President Mahama that once Miotso is not part of Ghana, I have nothing to say. My word that I have, that I give my matter, everything to God.
All right.
It's God who will control me.
Mr. Boche, we're very sorry about your loss, but we would try and get into it. We'll try and reach the police to get confirmation as to you saying that the police actually shot your dad. We'll try and get that confirmation. As of now, we do not have that confirmation, but that's what John Latte Boche is telling us. We do not have that confirmation as to whether indeed the police actually shot John's dad. Now, Pa Asante is with the SRC at the Central University College. He witnessed the incident and he joins us on the phone lines. Good evening to you, Pa Asante. What can you tell us about this incident at Miotso?
Oh, good evening, boss. Greetings to everyone, and sorry for the incident which has happened. Actually, as you rightfully said, I'm a student in Central University. So we were all in a WhatsApp group chat, and a caution note was sent to us telling us people who have planned coming to school today or tomorrow shouldn't come around because there is a controversy happening around Miotso, which has resulted in shooting and a whole lot of things. So for the safety of the students at heart, they decided to send the information around so that students will hold on for a minute or a while, not to come around, for them to be involved in this case. That's what, I know. And that's what I heard. So per the pictures I saw, we believed what was going on. And surprisingly, it happened opposite my hostel, gift hostel. Yeah, that was where the incident happened.
What did you see?
Okay, well, I saw two bent cars. I have the pictures on my phone. I saw two bent cars with a police car around and some tear gas, something. Yeah.
But okay, what did you see before those two burned cars? Did you witness any clashes, any violence, any? Did you hear any gunshots?
Fine. Actually, I wasn't there myself.
Right.
But technology and social media, I decided to receive the information on my phone, and when I made one or two calls, it was confirmed that yes, this was what has happened, and I understand it resulted in some shooting and even killing of some two persons. I'm Johnny's dad and the Mason or something like that.
Thank you very much, Pa Asante. Would like to leave it here. You're watching Joy News Prime now. The news just coming through is that there's been some disturbances at Miotso here in Accra, and apparently two people are reportedly have been shot. We'll be trying to get the police to bring us some details or some confirmation as to what exactly may have happened there. But you're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a break. We'll be back with the rest of our story. Stay tuned. Watching Joy News Prime. Now, there's been quite a few theories in the last few weeks about what may have accounted for the NDC's defeat at the polls this December. Some have even gone as far as demanding the resignation of the entire leadership they say is to blame for the massive defeat. Perhaps to seek to quieten the storm and rally its members, the party has set up a 13-member committee to conduct a review into factors that accounted for their poor show. At a news conference in Accra Thursday, General Secretary Johnson Yesiedun Ketia said the committee, to be chaired by Professor Kwesi Boche, will be expected to submit its recommendations within 90 days of its inauguration.
It's nearly a month since the December polls, which saw President Mahama of the governing NDC being trounced at the polls by the MPP's Nana Akufo-Addo. There have since been finger-pointing among party executives as to who should take responsibility for the party's dismal performance. The 13-member fact-finding committee, with the blessing of a council of elders, will look into matters that culminated in the party's defeat.
The National Executive Committee of the NDC, at its end-of-year meeting held yesterday at the Institute of Local Government Studies, took the following decision: to conduct a comprehensive review of the planning, execution, and outcomes of the party's campaign and participation in the December 2016 general elections, with a view to establishing what went wrong in order to guide the party's activities moving into the future. To implement this decision, ladies and gentlemen, the party has constituted a National Elections Review Committee under the chairmanship of Professor Kwasi Botwe.
The committee, as part of its terms of reference, is expected to review and validate the results of the election.
Their terms of reference shall be: 1, to review and validate the results of the 2016 presidential and parliamentary elections. 2, to find out the causes of the poor performance of the NDC in both the presidential and parliamentary elections. 3, deal with any other matter reasonably related to the above objectives, and to make recommendations to the National Executive Committee about the way. The committee shall submit its report within 90 days of its inauguration.
Other members include Speaker of Parliament Doa Jaho, Alhaji Hudu Yaya, and Naval Captain Asasi Jima. The party's General Secretary explains what the work of the committee will entail.
During the course of its work, the committee is expected to conduct hearings among the rank and file of the party across the country to afford members the opportunity to express their views about all the issues under review and to participate in the reshaping of the party to meet the challenges ahead. The National Executive Committee wishes to advise all members of the party to desist from the ongoing blame games, both in the traditional and social media, and to channel their views through the committee for redress.
The committee will begin work after January 5, at which time the next parliament would have been properly constituted.
Meanwhile, a group which had called for NDC party executives to vacate their posts following the party's electoral defeat has been meeting to examine the party's decision. We have on the line one of them, Dr. Jokoto. He's actually the leader of the group. Good evening to you, Dr. Jokoto.
Good evening, Israel.
All right. Now, what do you make of this 13-member team that's been put together to essentially look into why the NDC lost the election?
Thank you very much. For the crusade for probity and accountability,
is this what you asked for?
Our main objective was to have an objective inquest into the reason why the party lost the elections heavily.
Does this suffice for you?
We'll say it's a step in the right direction. We'll commend the National Executive Council for consulting the Council of Elders. As per the statement that they released, they had consulted the Council of Elders and they had come up with names. And these are credible people. Professor Kwasi Botwe, we've seen the Speaker of Parliament there. We've seen Alhaji Hudu Yaya over there. And we'll wait. We'll watch and wait. But so far we say that we thank the National Executive Council. We think that they have a listening ear. They have their ears very close to the ground. They can feel the mood of the people. And they have requested for seemingly an objective inquest. These are preliminary reactions. The group would meet and then come up with a conclusive response to the step that the party has taken today.
Now, Dr. Jokoto, would your group seek to have a role in this committee?
Yes, we would. Like the General Secretary of the party said, that they would expect the input from the rank and file of the party. We would also definitely go down to the rank and file. Our little observations that we noticed will be channeled through to the group to further enrich the discussions that the committee will be the discussions that we'll be having with regards to the inquest into why we lost.
All right. Now, can you share with us what you think lost the NDC the election?
Israel, that will be an attempt to preempt the work of the committee. Our General Secretary and Party Chairman have requested that as much as possible there's no outplay in the public of reasons as to why the party lost or not. So now that our proposition has been some way considered and there's an independent committee to look into the defeat, we would want to channel all our concerns to the committee that is currently in place.
All right. Now, don't you find it interesting that President Mahama has no role at all in this particular committee?
The president is part of the system, is part of the National Democratic Congress.
He's the biggest loser in all of this, and I would want to think.
So since he is he was our presidential candidate and he played a front role in the campaign, it will be good for him to sit back and let the committee come up with its findings so that it will be as objective as possible.
You rather
what
don't think
requested for is an objective inquest.
You don't think that he probably should be superintending this whole thing?
That won't give it the semblance of objectivity if he is fronting this whole thing. I think what is best for the party is what has been done. An independent committee has been set up. So whatever recommendations that are made, we hope that it will be in the best interest of the party.
All right. Okay, Dr. Kwesi Botchwey, thank you very much for making time to join us. But also on the phone lines, we have Dr. Bosman Asare. We're going to speak with him about what he makes of what the party is trying to, the NDC is trying to do to bring the party together, to rally the rank and file. But elsewhere, in other political news, the Progressive People's Party has set out its expectations of the incoming Akufo-Addo administration and vowed to ensure it tracks the fulfillment of its campaign promises. Addressing a news conference in Accra on Thursday, the party, which is claiming to be the third force in Ghanaian politics, says it expects, among others, the election of DCs and the separation of the functions of the Attorney General from that of the Minister of Justice. Though the PPP could not win a single seat in the parliamentary elections, it says it is proud of what it has been able to achieve. Anodame was at the news conference for Joy News.
First on the list of demands by the PPP is a constitutional reform to ensure that a practice of appointing metropolitan, municipal and district chief executives is scrapped. Dr. Papa Kwesi Indom, who was once an assembly member and also a member of parliament, asked the government to implement the policy within a year. A 24-month ultimatum was given to the Akufo-Addo administration to separate the powers of the Attorney General from the Minister of Justice.
Specifically, we would like to see that the following reforms are undertaken within the next 24 months. First one, the appointment of majority of ministers from Parliament. See, we are of the view that the current arrangement where ministers of state, or even the majority of ministers of state, must come from Parliament does not support good governance, and it must be changed.
Dr. Indom also demanded that the incoming administration must declare their assets, adding that a president and vice president must not be exempted from any taxes. Here's his reason.
Article 68, Section 5 of the Constitution exempts the president from paying tax. This is wrong, and it does not permit the president to set a good example for the rest of the citizens to follow. It is important that this amendment is made to provide the moral authority on the part of the president to go after tax evaders.
Dr. Indom again tasked the MPP to ensure the National Identification Project is completed by 2017.
We are asking the incoming administration to provide adequate financial, human, and technical support to the National Identification Authority so that this work can be completed by the end of 2017.
Well, the president-elect has already indicated his willingness to have almost all of these issues addressed. So, why was this press conference necessary at this time? Here is Dr. Indum's response.
We are glad to note that the leader of the incoming MPP administration has repeatedly committed himself to the implementation of many of the reforms we are advocating for. So let me say clearly, we will be there to advocate, support, and play whatever positive role will ensure the legal adoption and implementation of the change agenda. At the same time, given our recent experience, where people say one thing and do something else, we will hold the incoming leader of the nation to his word. His promises must be redeemed.
For Joy News, I am Hannah Odame.
Right, joining us on the telephone line now is Dr. Bosman Asari. He's a political science lecturer at the University of Ghana. Good evening to you, Dr. Asari.
Good evening to you and good evening to your viewers.
All right, now, quickly, I want to find out from you. Now, the PPP is essentially claiming to be, or it's claiming, saying that it is the third force in Ghana's politics. What do you make of that position they're claiming?
I think we look at in terms of the performance of all the political parties from 2012, 2016. I think it's very clear that the PPP has always been showing up as the number third force in terms of the influence or the number of votes. But I think, frankly, we can say the PPP is a distant third, because you look at what the MPP, the NDC will get first or second in that manner, and you look at the position of the PPP, although they appear to be a third force, I think many will be fair to put it that it's a distant third.
Right. So you're saying this, even though this is the PPP's first election?
But I think the PPP was involved in 2012. And 2012, I think it was quite okay, and 2016. But for most of us political watchers, I think we were expecting them to do better than they did. But the reality is that we live in a system where two parties have become so dominant. And where two parties are so dominant, people find it very difficult voting for a third party. And it is not the case that they don't like the third party or they don't like a party like the PPP, but people are thinking of being part of the winning coalition. So I think that the PPP is having a problem of what in politics we normally call voting without choosing. People actually like the PPP, but they also know that the PPP cannot win. So let's support either the NDC or the MPP.
All right, so the PPP, as I know it has been around not too long, except that Dr. Indum was with another political party. So he's been around all this while, except that the PPP itself is new. But I'd like us to move on to the NDC's issue. The NDC has formed a 13-member committee to look into the factors that accounted for their loss. Is that the way to go?
Well, I think it's a very laudable program or a laudable policy to be adopted by the party. I think as a party in government, the manner in which the party lost the election, when you are being very frank, you realize that the results clearly show that it wasn't a contest at all. The NDC was completely annihilated by the MPP. So I think the party really must take certain actions. And the first one, setting up committees to be able to look into the reasons why the party did not do well at the polls. I think this is something which is very laudable.
Isn't it too clear what the factors are already?
So normally, in terms of an issue like losing election, a party in government, I know most of us will have several reasons why the party lost. Maybe they didn't have a very good message, etc., perceptions and the realities of corruption. But it will also be very good for you to have a committee to go out there and be asking the voters, people at the grassroots, people in urban areas, why didn't you vote for the NDC? So once they can also get that documented from the individuals or from the electorate, I think that will go far to inform the party what they must do to be ready for 2020.
Now, the committee that has been formed doesn't have President Mahama being part of it. He being the biggest loser in all of this, don't you think he probably should have been somewhere in there and probably superintending over this?
The leadership of the NDC has done a very good job by not involving Mr. Mahama in the various committees. The reason is that we know within the various parties, once you are the flag bearer, or let's say you are the president in that particular party, automatically you become the leader of the party. But once the party is in opposition, everything revolves around the party chairperson. So once you are forming a committee and you make someone like Mr. Mahama part of the committee, which will still be functioning after January 7th, then it sends a clear signal that maybe as a political party you are still committed to having Mr. Mahama as your flag bearer. And when it happens that way, then you are undermining the chances of other would-be contenders. So I think the party would like to create that enabling environment, the level playing field, so that all those who are interested in contesting as candidates for the party flag bearership slot will get a chance. It shouldn't appear as if you are giving Mr. Mahama an upper hand.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Bosman Asare. Dr. Bosman Asare is a political science lecturer at the University of Ghana. Now, we're returning to our earlier story. We had to do with the clashes at Miotso. We have ASP Juliana Obeng. He's with the Tema Region Command, and she's joining us on the telephone line to give us some details of that incident. Good evening to you, ASP.
Good evening, Israel.
All right, what does the police know about this Miotso clashes?
Well, good evening once again. Good evening to your viewers. This morning, the Tema Regional Police Command had information to the effect that there was some gunshot or some firing at Dawenya and then Miotso over land issues. And when the police got that information, we quickly mobilized our teams from the operational unit to the scene to make sure that we maintain law and order. That's exactly what we did when we got to the place. After everything, we noticed that 2 persons had died. 6 others had also been injured as a result of a shooting incident that was between Miotso and then Dawenya. And then again, we noticed that some cars had been burnt. But unfortunately for us, we got the fire service to come help us on that score. As I speak to you, the Tema Regional Police Command has been able to arrest 16 persons in connection with this morning's incident. Fortunately or unfortunately, the National CID has taken over investigations or further investigations into this particular matter. So as I speak to you, the exhibits that we found after everything at the place, that included a Mercedes-Benz AMG car, a Jeep Cherokee, 2 pump-action guns, a pistol, and then 1 AK-47 assault rifle, which was loaded, are all being given to the National CID to help with the investigations, including dockets and the 16 suspects that we arrested this morning.
All right. Now, ASP Juliana Obeng, there's one resident who's actually accusing the police of shooting the dad and claiming his life. How do you respond to that?
I would have loved that the person came to the Regional Police Command to speak to us, so that if there were any explanations, we would have done. But let me say that this comes to me as news. What I know is that the clashes was not between Miotso and Dawenya with the police, but with Miotso and then Dawenya. And so the shooting was strictly between Miotso and Dawenya. We will not be able to tell you now whether the gunshots that killed those 2 persons are from Dawenya or from Miotso. But then what I know is that the clashes were strictly between Miotso and then Dawenya. Let us also say that at the time that we got there, all of these things had already happened. And so for that resident who is saying that, well, unfortunate, my condolences to him or her, but it would be important that if he has anything to the effect of what he or she is saying, it would only be appropriate that he comes to us so we could sit down and talk. But then it is that the classes were strictly between Miotso and Dawenya, and not with Miotso, Dawenya, and the police.
All right. Now, so what you're telling us is that you can confirm that 2 people have died and there have been 6 injuries, and they're also talking about 16 arrests as we speak.
Exactly.
What's the situation like now? Do you have your men on the ground? Is there calm?
The situation as at the time of leaving the office was really calm. It was peaceful. And that is not to say that we have taken that for granted. As I speak to you, we have teams that have been taken to both Miotso and then Dawenya to maintain the peace that they are enjoying now. And they were going to be there until we think or can advise ourselves accordingly. So yes, we have standby teams that are taking care of the kind of peace that Miotso and Dawenya are enjoying now.
All right, thank you very much. ASP Juliana Obeng is with the Tema Region Police Command, and she, the very latest we're getting on the Miotso clashes is that indeed she's confirming 2 people have died and 6 persons have sustained injuries. There have been 16 arrests, and the police CID have taken over that investigation of the incident. Now, welcome back to you're welcome to back to Joy News Prime, and we're going to be talking next about the president-elect and he forming his cabinet. There's got a lot of speculation going about. We don't have the confirmed list yet. Disregard anything that you see. Elton John Brobe, he's been following the president-elect, and he would have some insight as to what's happening. But tonight we're talking not about the president-elect's cabinet. We're talking about the leadership in Parliament, because you're also our parliamentary correspondent. Now we're aware that the leadership in Parliament is shaping up, and some names have emerged. So I'd want you to take us through them. So let's start with the majority, the incoming majority.
All right. So what we do know is that Oseche Mensabonzo, who is the current minority leader and the MP elect for Swami, is likely to be the majority leader on the MPP side. What we do not know is whether additional responsibility as Minister for Parliamentary Affairs will be added to his office as the majority leader.
All right.
But his name has been confirmed, and he's likely to be the leader of the House in the 7th Parliament. Now, his assistant is where there appears to be some problem. The original list contained the name of Joseph Kofi Adam, the MP elect for Navrongo Central. Now, unfortunately, what we are being told is that he, served as a cabinet minister during the Kufuor administration. Yes. So he is not energy. So he's not so pleased with the fact that he's been given a rather small role in court.
Looks
because
like a demotion.
Yes, he considers a deputy majority leader's role as a demotion. So he's not accepted it yet. However, there's a strong push coming from the Central Regional Caucus of the MPP. Originally, Kennedy Japon, the member of parliament for Asin Central, was chosen as the majority chief whip. He rejected this particular position, according to my sources within the MPP caucus. He rejected it, and rather suggested that Honorable Afenyomaken, and he's backed by the MPP, caucus from the Central Region, be in leadership. Now, his original position that was given him was a deputy whip on the MPP side. Now, what we are being told is that because of this confusion as to whether Kofi Adam will be maintained as deputy majority leader, or he will be taken from the leadership of Parliament and given a ministerial position, that is what we are told that the Central Regional Caucus is pushing, that Alexander Afenyomaken is moved from the deputy whip position to a deputy majority leader's position. The position of the main whip, from what we've been told, will go to the member of parliament for Empire, so Seth Echampong, because he's coming from the Eastern region. Now, what is surprising though is that Damboche, who is currently occupying this whip position for the minority side in the MPP, is being taken out of leadership. Now, when I probed, I was told that he was first offered the position of a Minister of State at the presidency, which he was not so pleased with it. Now, from what I've been told,
would he rather have been?
I'm told that there was suggestion that he should be given the position of a local government minister. Eventually, it didn't go through, and was rather offered a Minister of State at the presidency, which he also is not so pleased with it. Now, it looks like he's out of leadership of Parliament. if he declines the offer of a Minister of State, then he will be left with nothing. It may end up being an ordinary member of Parliament without any, losing all the privileges that comes with being a leadership position. So what is left is for the minority, the incoming majority, to fix the position of a deputy majority leader and a female, member of Parliament to become the second deputy whip, and that will complete their sets for the leadership role in Parliament.
Second deputy whip, who do you think is could be going for that position?
We have been told that they are looking at somebody from the Western region, a female from the Western region. Now, if you take the composition, obviously you will realize that there's no person from the northern part of Ghana in leadership as far as the MPP is concerned. That is, if Kofi Ara is taken out and be given a ministerial position, and that has been some of the argument that people have advanced, that it should reflect the national character. So that is for the incoming MPP majority in Parliament.
And how about the minority?
The minority, what we've been told is that Haruna Iddrisu stands tall among those who, all the names that have come up as a minority leader. In the last few days, we've heard of a strong push by the current chairman of the Finance Committee of Parliament, James Klucha Aveji, and because he's coming from the voter region, and the fact that Aban Babin will become the second deputy Speaker of Parliament, and the fact that the NDC derives most of its strength from the voter region, the push is that the voter region is given a very respectable position in Parliament. Right. So he is pushing to become the minority leader. However, what I've been told is that the party rather suggested that he be made the chairman of the Public Accounts Committee because of his background in accounting. He's also not pleased with this particular role he's been assigned to. But what I've been told, Haruna Iddrisu is the favorite of the party. I've also been told that some influential persons in the party are also pushing for Mahama Yariga to be made the minority leader. But from the way the discussion is going, it does appear to me that Haruna Iddrisu eventually will get a position. Right. Now, yes, also relating to the deputy minority leaders' positions, also another, Muntaka Mubarak, the current majority chief whip, is looking forward to that position. Emmanuel Bejwa, the chairman of the Committee on Government Assurance, is also looking forward to this particular position. I'm told another person whom I'm yet to know. Then we have 3 persons gunning for this particular position. Now, in terms of regional balance and in terms of the distribution of position, as far as the regional balance is concerned, Muntaka Mubarak may be considered because he's already in leadership, and it will be good for them to upgrade him. But as to whether that will be done, more especially if James Abeji is ignored, then somebody from the voter region may have the final say in occupying that particular position. And for the whip, we have been told that the member of Parliament for Banda, Ahmed Ibrahim, and the Deputy Works and Housing, Mr. Samson, he was once a whip, and when he was given a ministerial position, he had to vacate that particular position. These 2 individuals are being considered for the whip position. Now, whoever emerges as a whip, the other person will become the deputy whip. And they are also not yet clear on the female person to complete their list.
All right. Thank you very much, Elton Grobe, bringing us all that insight from Parliament. We're taking a break, after which we'll bring you international news.